I don't care what the rest of the world says. There is no creature on this planet more lonely than a man in his 20s. A friend once told me that as a man, he was offered more drugs in his life than he was offered hugs. And I think that speaks volumes. It is no coincidence that men account for 75 to 80% of all deaths by suicide. Let's be honest, if you're a man in your 20s, there are probably 3 emotions that you feel very intensely. Anxiety about an uncertain future, the pain of loss of family and friends and close ones, and above all, a profound sense of loneliness. You probably had big dreams that you wanted to chase, which brought you outside the comfort zone of your family and your small town neighborhood, into a wild and cacophonous city that runs on adrenaline and competition. You realize sooner or later, everyone leaves, even the one you trusted with all your soul, even the one you imagined every aspect of your future with. And the truth hits you right in the face. Maybe you are not designed to deserve love for just being yourself. Maybe you're destined to be loved under certain conditions only. That the moment you try to draw some boundaries or stand up for your dignity, you are reminded of how replaceable you truly are. You realize that people will discard you and disappear as if you were never real, as if you meant nothing. And then one day you begin to understand that the only way to be loved as a man is to become successful in the conventional social sense, to climb up this economic ladder, to project physical strength and emotional stability even when you're crumbling on the inside. But how can that be love, you will ask? If someone only accepts me under certain circumstances, if I only tick certain boxes. And you'll be right, because that is not love. It is just acceptance. Maybe even a celebration of what you have achieved, how well you have performed. The truth is, as a man in his 20s, still building his career and his future, you cannot provide for another human being. You can barely even take care of yourself. And until you reach a stage where you can, people will see you as disposable. We live in an age of an abundance of options, and it takes very little time for people to move on to the next schmo who flows, as Eminem called it. But the moment you are replaced, your ego does take a hit. You feel embarrassed and sheepish for trusting so blindly, for being so naive. But this marks a pivotal moment in your life. This is the moment that you transform from a boy into a man. Not because you like or want that transformation, but because the world forces you to. You teach yourself to live with that loneliness, that gaping hole, that fear of humanity, until one day you realize no one is coming to save you. And that realization changes something inside of you. You lose your innocence, your naivety. The easygoing kid who was always filled with laughter and mirth is now suddenly always paranoid, always suspicious of people's true intentions. You force your heart to turn into stone. You adopt this cold veneer of stoic imperturbability. But deep down you can see the cracks, the chink in your armor. You may think you're fooling the rest of the world, but you can never fool yourself. You see, vulnerability is the singular trait that defines the human condition. Our fragility is what really makes us human. But as men, we are taught that it is weak and unmanly to expose our vulnerability. As a man, people you call your own friends will laugh at you if you cry in front of them. See, as men, we are not programmed to show our weakness in front of other men, no matter how close they are to us. In fact, your own brothers are competing against you, and it is not even their fault. They have been pitted against you in a system that is essentially oppressive and exploitative, and ultimately not designed for a man in his 20s. Think of Squid Game as a metaphor. You are going to have to fight your own brothers and friends and family to ensure your own survival, even if you do not want to. The problem with the kind of capitalist, patriarchal society we live in is that men are reduced to their status, their income, their networks and social credentials. But in your 20s, your career is not stable. You don't earn enough. Women don't care about you. The world does not give a shit if you live or die. So you slowly start to accept that you are alone in a wide, wide sea. The systems of support that you used to count on have all abandoned you. All that you relied on has failed you miserably. And then, after all of this, people still complain that men are heartless, men are emotionless. The truth is, we never become heartless. We're just tired of always tiptoeing on eggshells, too afraid to ask for what we need, lest we should come off as needy, less masculine, imperfect. We'd rather weather storms alone than get used to temporary people who only stick with us in our good times. We'd rather bury our heads in our pillows and scream our hearts out than ever open up to another human being again. We'd rather give up on the hope of ever finding true love than live with a thorn that pricks our souls eternally. We'd rather paint years on the walls and speak to our own shadows than pour our hearts out in front of people who are not even emotionally there. I don't know what your story is. I don't know if you have felt this way before. But if you do feel my words, I feel for you. And I implore you to join me on this journey of self-discovery, self-reconstruction, as we try to find a way to transform loneliness into solitude, this ache in our heart into the calm sensation of peace, this perpetual yearning for another individual to fill this void into a productive emptiness where we can finally sit with ourselves in silence without feeling that something or someone is missing. So this is me being vulnerable. This is me standing up for myself. This is me acknowledging that I am tired of letting people bulldoze my painstakingly erected boundaries. I am sick of abandoning myself to save other people, only to be coldly discarded in the end. I'm tired of proving that I too am worthy of being loved only when I meet other people's needs. For once in my life, I just want to be all that I need. I'm tired of crossing oceans for people who would not jump across a puddle for me. Now I just want to sail across seas by myself, humming my favorite song without caring how well I performed. I want to cry when I need to and laugh when I want to. I want to know it is okay to be too much at times. I want to see my flaws and accept them and celebrate them. I want to run my fingers over my wounds and accept that they will never fully heal, but that is okay. I want my wounds to be a reminder of having lived through things that I thought would kill me. Above all, I want to heal. I want to be someone who believes in magic again. I want to have faith in the universe. I want to trust again. I want to pour out all of the love that I feel for this life, for this planet, and for this species. So if you ever need a brother to talk to or lighten your emotional burden with, know that I am here for you. Come join us as we create a community of empathetic but self-reliant, vulnerable but strong men. Feel free to write your story down in the comments, or if you would like to get in touch with me personally, feel free to do so over Instagram. I sincerely hope that you heal from whatever is bothering you right now. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.